Hello, my name is Edward Austin. I have experience in leadership, problem solving, and team organization. I recently made a career change, leaving air traffic control to enter the world of data analytics. I completed my service in the Air Force and entered a full-time economics program, at the University of Texas, San Antonio. This is where my interest in data began. Every course had insights that were derived from data and its infinite uses. I was hooked. For my capstone, I wanted to gather insights into some parameters of a successful YouTuber and build a model to predict their success. The world is changing, and how businesses communicate with customers is evolving. I compiled some data from Kaggle and other sources, performed SQL aggregates, built tables, and created a regression model. Let's dive in. Let's play a game. I'll name three people, and you to yourself can say who you knew and who you didn't know. So the first name is Jake Paul, Bernard Arnault, or Jamie Dimon. Okay, so I'll give you a few seconds. All right. The first is a YouTube influencer. The second is the CEO of Louis Vuitton. And last is the CEO of JP Morgan and Chase. That little exercise just demonstrated how powerful YouTube is in social media. It's changing how we communicate with consumers. The new oil of our decade is attention. Who can hold attention? Similar to a record label, a shoe company, or a clothing brand, the individual who gets the endorsement deal is changing from star athlete to star influencer. In a recent interview conducted by the Influencer Orchestration Network, 88% of Gen Z and millennials learn about products from social media. 56% purchase from social media. And when asked who they trust more, 50% trust influencers in contrast to only 38% who trust celebrities. So in this project, I attempted to gather insights, build a projection model to find the next influencer before they're a star. Next, I'll share my screen and we'll take a closer look at some of the graphs I built. When companies invest their marketing dollars, they want to make sure the company will have continued growth in the future. As the saying goes, what have you done for me lately? The above is a regression model built from active users on YouTube from 2005 to 2018. As we near the next few years, the trend line and graph show YouTube will grow to over 2 billion users. It seems YouTube is here to stay and it's a safe investment. Let's get started with categories. This is an essential aspect of YouTube. It uses categories to sort through videos. The key takeaway here is that music and entertainment dominate nearly half of all subscribers on YouTube. Cheers to Drake and Taylor Swift. Okay, similar to subscribers by category, we notice that video views by category tells the same story. Music and entertainment again dominate nearly half of all video views. We seem to enjoy music and entertainment as a YouTube community. Okay, wait, let's not forget about the smaller categories. An important stat is subscribers obtained in relation to video views, defined here as engagement rate or conversion rate. This is how subscribers are obtained per amount of video views. For example, nonprofits and activism garner 6 subscribers per 1,000 video views, in relation to music, which only earns about 2 out of every 1,000. They may be small categories, but they are mighty. The next important aspect in finding our next YouTube influencer is the language. Which one is the most popular? As you notice to the left or your right, English and Hindi lead the way well ahead of any other type. The bubble size shows its relation compared to other languages. English and Hindi are well above the others. Okay, switching gears for just a second. Here are a few averages of the top 1,000 YouTubers. The number and reach of YouTube influencers is phenomenal. These goals, they're not for our YouTuber, but this graph is meant to highlight the reach of the app. Also, take note of the video views per channel. Most top YouTubers average about 5,000 videos per channel. That's a ton of content. Luckily for us, we're looking at YouTubers on a much smaller scale. In theory, we would want to sign our potential star much earlier in their career. The sooner the better. An example would be the difference between signing LeBron out of high school or once he's already an NBA star. Most companies would desire the former to save on those contract costs. All right, don't panic. I'll explain the graph. We have reviewed categories, video views, conversion rates, video length, and a number of other categories. I know it's a ton of data, but we finally reached the fun part. We can now use the conversion rate, which we previously learned about, to build our projection analysis and evaluate our influencer. The first column is random video views selected by a loop Python and loop program I built in Python. Since we don't have a user, we will have to simulate that part. The next column is our conversion rate. Remember from the beginning? Third is the result of multiplying video views times conversion rate. Next is the video count. And finally, the accumulative total sum of subscribers. Now, before I show the graph, I just wanted to speak about some of the obstacles I experienced in building my regression model. The main obstacle was trying to make the model from grouping dates by years. That was kind of a little tough, almost impossible, because I didn't have all of the perfect dates and years and growth of each YouTuber. So instead, I had to start from scratch, take the conversion rate, build some video views simulated by Python, multiply the conversion rate, and then follow through as previously mentioned about how that table was made. But that kind of really taught me a few things about having to switch gears, how to pivot and look at something, a problem in a totally different angle. So, okay, so the above is our graphed data. The blue bars along the x-axis represent subscribers gained per video. The gray line represents the accumulation of subscribers, and the red trend line calculates our function. Now, that number, that 16.657, represents the rate of change or amount of subscribers one could expect per video when the average videos are roughly between 5 to 15,000 video views. So we can expect roughly on average about 16 subscribers per video for someone in this video view range. This benchmark can be used to evaluate growth and performance. It allows companies to see who has the potential to be a major influence and endorse them before competitors. Now, a note, this graph that I made is for subscribers, or I'm sorry, for a YouTuber between 5 to 15,000 video views. Now, it can be scaled to however big or small their video views may be, which is really great because it allows you some flexibility in using this model depending on which YouTuber you're looking at. So, okay, so we assessed how to manage gathering subscribers, but we need a measurement to show how engaging a video is. The average for likes and comments is 1% for likes, 10 out of 1,000, and 0.08% for comments, 8 out of 1,000. The graph above shows the life cycle from 1,000 video views to likes, comments, finally subscribers. Likes are the easiest to acquire. Although the average is 1%, it requires the least amount of commitment. You can watch, like, move on. Pretty easy. Second were comments. This call to action requires a higher bit of commitment. The consumer has to take their hands and they got to type a message. And it seems from the graph, most would rather watch and like or just watch and move on. Finally, the subscribers. This has the lowest engagement rate because it requires the highest form of commitment. It indicates that the consumer wants to view more of your content. A like or a comment, they come and go. However, a subscription is the beginning of a social media returning customer. All right, so we've analyzed our data, built the model to predict success. Companies can use the model as a benchmark and measure if a potential candidate is above or below the average. Now all that's left to do is find a YouTuber, let the money roll in. I'm kidding. Many more steps for that. But thank you for walking with me on this journey. Happy YouTubing. Happy YouTubing. Let's switch gears for a second and I'll show you some of the code I used from SQL and mainly SQL and Python. And let me switch my screen. Okay, so this is the Python model I used. Since we didn't have a real YouTuber to look at, when we're building that model from 5,000 to 15,000 video views, we needed some way to simulate video views. Because, you would have maybe 7,000 views on one video, then 5, then 10, then 12, So we needed a way to realistically, randomly measure how those video views roll in. Luckily for us, Python has a random library that we could import and use it to give us random numbers. So I used a loop between 0 and 20, which you see here. And the number that I got from that loop, I added to my empty list right here. And I told Python, I said, hey, I only want numbers between 5,000 and 15,000. It printed that list. And once I printed this list, I exported it as a CSV and I put that CSV into Excel. From there, I kind of let Excel do the heavy lifting. It has a quick button you can hit to build your linear regression model. You can back check the math if you like. So that's kind of how I built the video views to the model, use that model to multiply times the conversion rate, which I built in Excel, and I'll show you that in just a second. And then from there, you can just add up the numbers, basic how we show it in the graph. So let me show you my SQL next. Okay, and here is the standby. Let me reshare my screen to make sure you see this. Okay. Oh, there's a SQL. Okay, perfect. Okay, and nope, not sharing the right screen, standby. Okay, so I went into SQL. I wanted to do some aggregates. I grouped everything by category. So this sum null if basically helps me to get rid of zeros, which could make your averages inaccurate. So we use the sum null if function to help us get rid of those zeros in our averages. And then we wanted to make sure when we're looking at our categories, any category that wasn't filled in or null, we didn't use it in our building a table. So this new table has no zeros, has no empty categories, and this is that engagement rate that we use to build our model with. This is our video views, video count, subscribers, categories. Let me see what else was here. Okay, and this is the most important I have from SQL, which is at the beginning of the presentation. That's where I was using to build those categories, subscribers, engagement rate per category. That's where those numbers came from. So thank you guys for watching and happy YouTubing.